Hello everyone. It's 5:30 here in Florida. Let's see if we can wait maybe a couple of minutes. Okay, so I think that we can start. Hello everyone. Welcome to this new meetups of South Florida testing champion community. Today we have an special guest. She will be teaching us about Selenium framework and C Sharp. For those of you who are new in the community, South Florida Testing Champion is a place dedicated for everyone. Our goal is to teach and share knowledge in key areas like a QA in general, but also automation, performance, API, AI integration with testing. So welcome to everyone. We are also here to help those people for that trying to looking for a job opportunity in the field, as well as those who want to do the transition into the world of testing and QA. This is perfect place for learning, share, and of course, grow together. So I have a couple of announcements. I will be so quickly here. Bear with me. Um, my first announcement it's about thank to our friends at Brightest. We'll be holding a raffle for the ISTQB certification exam. It's a great opportunity to advance your career and prove your expertise in the QA area. We will using a quiz or a trivia at the end of the presentation. So be there at the end of the presentation because we'll be doing a quiz or a trivia. And the best part of this is that you can win the raffle and then you can choose which exam you want to take for the ISTQB platform. So just so quickly about Brightest. Brightest is our sponsor for this workshop to evening. They provide not only ISTQB certification based on testing, but also they offer a wide range of other certifications related to several types of testing. They have the United certification based on Selenium using C Sharp, using Java, using Python. They have performance testing using JMeter. Also, they have other certification based on the UX, API, and even they have a certification based on AI based with the testing. So the good thing about this certification of the United certification is all of these certifications are based on practical side, on the practical side. So thank you so much, Brightest, for this exam. So just wait to the end of the presentation to participate on the quiz, okay? Another announcement so quickly, the venue for the local event. So we are looking for a venue to host our next local event in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area in October. So if any one of you have any recommendation or know a suitable place or venue, please let us know because we want to create a memorable event in the Miami area. So we need your help finding the perfect spot for our meetup in October. Um, I also want to talk about our upcoming event, the Scripting Day competition, which we plan to kick off at the beginning of the next year in 2025. This will be an exciting challenge where you can showcase your scripting skill using tools like Selenium and JMeter. So stay tuned because we have 3 prizes in each category. We have 500 for the first place, 250 for the second place, and for the third place we have 100. So be prepared for this scripting side, okay? About the next workshop for September, October, November, and December, we have, let's remove the banner from now just to specify the December one, because it's high, it's overlapping the banner. So for September, October, November, and December, we got the performance testing script challenge for September. It's like a competition between JMeter competition. It's a challenge between JMeter, Gatling, and Locus. There is three experts talking about JMeter, Gatling, and Locus, but focus on the scripting side. October, we have something related to automation testing using ProWrite. November, we'll be doing something related to automation testing on mobile devices. We're using Appium. And then from December, we have something related to performance testing. And now we have our speaker for today. She's a lead test automation engineer. She lives in the beautiful city of Naples in Southwest Florida. So let's welcome Rabia and kick off the scripting session. Just keep in mind, if you have any question, just go to the comments, or you can add the question in our Discord channel. I will share the Discord channel URL here in the presentation. So let's put in Rabia here. Hello, Rabia, how are you?
Good, Delvis. How are you? Thanks
Doing
for having
great.
me.
Are you excited to be here?
Yes, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm
Nice
very
to see you
excited.
here, Rabia.
I would like to share the framework that I'm currently using, which I feel like it is very powerful. I have developed with the help with other test automation engineer, and we use this for automating around 2,000 test cases from our regression backlog, and the pass rate is about 80%. It handles most of the important sector of test automation, for example, reporting, debugging, and it can connect to the CI/CD pipelines. And well, I think there is a lot we can talk about, but today's focus, I created a very simple framework based on the framework we're using, and has the most important components in this framework. And the design I'm using the page object design pattern, which is very widely used and very popular design pattern for test automation. And I'm using Selenium. So I can start.
Just share your screen, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I created a slide. Let me share my screen. I am assuming most people here are QA engineers. So, but still, I did create some slide with some fundamental knowledge for it. Sorry.
It's okay.
So I did put this slide together because I think there's some fundamental knowledge as a base for understanding test automation, or start my topic with a Selenium page object design pattern. First of all, introduction. Yes, I'm going to repeat myself. It's page object design pattern, and it is a best practice in Selenium test automation. The testing tool I'm using is Selenium 4. The language I'm using is C#. Platform is .NET. Testing framework I'm using is NUnit. And the IDE I'm using is Visual Studio 2022. So, like I said, assuming most people are QA engineer, so we can say that software testing is a very important part of a software development lifecycle. Before the application or features go to production, we will have a staging environment for QA engineer to test the software against the requirements. And QA engineer gives thumbs up, and then the features or the bug fixes will then go to deployment. And next one, I want to mentioning about the software testing. There is a different type of software testing. We have very widely used and familiar, everybody familiar is black box and white box testing for front end and back end. And that's for more of defining a manual testing. We have smoke tests, sanity tests, monkey tests, exploratory tests, as well as a regression test. And for the procedure software testing, let's say we have a manual testing and automation testing. Generally speaking, manual testing is performed by human user tester that they have a very good understanding and foundation of testing, understands the software development lifecycle and the STLC testing lifecycle, which then they can, based on this knowledge, they can perform tests against the requirement, creating different test scenarios and test plan and test case, etc. And automated testing come to picture because it uses the script and writing code to performing tests automatically. In automated testing, we have a performance testing, a load testing, and regression testing is widely used. And let's talk about regression testing. Regression testing, I think, is one of the most important testing in agile methodology, software testing, SDLC. The reason why is we are constantly in the software development lifecycle. In the sprint, we're constantly developing new feature, or we are doing some bug fixes. When these bug fixes come to the staging environment, the tester will test against this specific feature to make sure it was acting or working as expected. But at the same time, this bug fix or new feature could affect other area of the code, because all developers' code is sharing one code base. The purpose of regression testing is after the bug fix or new feature, we will repeat all of the test case against the different area, especially most critical features. The reason, the benefits is maintaining a stability and reduce the defect from production. So automated testing, the definition is using the automation tools to execute pre-scripted tests on software application before it is released to production. The advantages is speed. It is a faster execution of a repetitive test cases. Accuracy, it reduces human error in testing because the automated testing is written by programming languages, and it will check certain areas, certain behavior faster and more accurate. It has reusability. So, for example, some test case were, for example, there were 3 tester need to test exactly the same test step, one for Chrome browser, one for Safari, one for Edge. And this test case, one single test script, can be run for all different platforms, and sometimes also can be run against a different test data, test input. And it's efficient, it saves times, and it saves resources, and it can find a bug as early as in the staging stage. So it was very beneficial to automate regression testing and using automated testing tool. And we're talking about automating testing tool. Mostly we will think about Selenium. It is the most widely used and oldest Selenium testing tool. Of course, now we have other testing tools like Cypress, Playwright, and WebDriver IO, and there is some new AI testing tools coming out as well. But Selenium is still one of the most widely used testing tool because it supports multiple browser, it supports various programming language, and it provides a robust framework for end-to-end testing. And it is open source, it's free to use, and it has a large community of users to contribute. And it has a cross-browser compatibility, it's flexible, and it can easily integrate with CI/CD tools like Jenkins, build tools like Maven, and testing tools like TestNG, NUnit, JUnit. And it is suitable for both a small and large project. So why we're using Selenium, we mentioned that there is a Java and Selenium with Java, Selenium with Python, other language as well. So why we're using Selenium, C#.NET. I started working with Selenium and Java. That's how I studied and I worked with. The reason I'm using C# is because the organization I worked before they were using, whole team was using Microsoft Shop, and it just makes sense that everybody use the same tool and the same programming language. After I'm using it, I can say I really love it. I hope I can continue use it, and I would like to share to more people how good Selenium with C# was, because I did research. Not many people are learning or using Selenium with C#. They always go to Selenium and Java, or they're using different tools. So the most importantly, the reason is it can be integrated with a Microsoft ecosystem, for example, Visual Studio. And the Visual Studio I can share later when I'm showing the framework. It has a very user-friendly interface, and the performance of the C# is very efficient, especially it is asynchronous programming. So C# supports asynchronous programming pattern with async and wait keywords. It will allow the non-blocking code execution. This is very helpful for me, at least. I think it's because we all know that Selenium's flaky test was created by Selenium waits, waiting for elements. It caused a lot of flakiness, but using async task, it will help. Basically, it will help to wait for certain condition until this condition is met. Then the code will jump to the next line of code. I think that's very beneficial. Also, C# has a very strong community and support from Microsoft as well. Lastly, page object design pattern. I'm sure many of you have heard of page object design pattern. Quick introduction. It is the page object design pattern is creating an object repository for web UI elements. So we know that for modern web application, and we know that Selenium is interacting web element using WebDriver. And we want to do some automation. We want to click on some elements. We want to send keys for some input field. We need to talk to the web elements. For talking to web elements, we need to locate the web elements, right? And there is millions of web elements on a modern website. And for example, let's say I have a web application. It has a customer, creating customer page, and we have an invoice page and a different settings page. On every page, there is a submit button or yes button. So how we know where is the element exactly is. So using page object, it will be helping the test automation engineers to easily find, talk to, and store the web elements. We can talk more about this, and I can show you how this was implemented in the framework. Another important C is reusability. On pages, we store web elements, and we store a method, some common method, or we can say it is some common actions. For example, I want to create invoice. First, I need to create a customer. So the step of creating a customer is a shared, widely reused steps, right? So we can create a method to create a customer. Let's call it create a customer. And this code can be used on multiple test cases. And readability, it is more readable and easy to understand. And it's modularity, it's clearly separation of test script from UI element locators and action. Yep, let's jump into it, and then let me show you with a real life framework. Before I started, does anyone have any question? You can drop it in the comment section. After this session ended, I can reply, or Delvis can reply to you. So this is the framework today I want to show and demo to you all. Before we started, for easy understanding, this is the testing website that we're using. Based on the framework, I created a very simple task, which is a logging. Let's manually test this first. So welcome, please sign in. When you click on login button from this website's homepage, you will ask for a very simple two-step, which is you need to input your email and the password. So the email is demo@test.com, and the password is password1. So this is a correct information, which I already know. When we click on sign in, where the page loaded to this landing page saying, welcome to testing yes, web app demo. And we can see there is a typo. We can report this later. So this can be one test to verify. After I click on signing button, then I can verify this welcome to testing yes, web demo, web app demo. Okay, let's do, this is a happy pass. Now let's create a different scenario with a valid email address and invalid password. Okay, we can see when you enter a wrong password, you will see an error message. Okay, let's try again with a correct password, but this time wrong email. Okay, still seeing this error message. So, and let's do one more is wrong email and wrong password. So still seeing this message. So there is a 4 scenario for this one signing test, logging test. And let's automate it. Before we start, let me give you a quick introduction of this framework. It is a page object design pattern, like I explained before. we have a page objects, which is all the page class. Have a home page. You can see here we store all the web elements and some reusable test steps. Login page, web elements, and reusable test steps in the form of method, etc. is the same. And to create a page class, there is a very important class we need to have, which is base page. In this base page, we will be initiating WebDriver wait, and I will call the base class, base test class. The reason is for using Selenium, we need to use this two thing is very important, which is driver and wait. And these two instances need to be wrapped around with all the class. So all the home page, all the login page, all the pages will be inherited from this base class from here. And because this base page has a constructor, here we were telling that the driver will be base test.driver, base test.wait. I can explain this base test driver and base test wait later. And the home page will be also carrying this two value as well. So that's base page's constructor. And in base page, I like to put most of the comment Selenium method. For example, click and retry, find element, wait for elements, is element displayed, is element visible, this can go on and on, but for this framework, I only listed few of them. You can add other helper method as well. So on the page, when you're creating some test steps, you can call this method quickly from the base page because of their inheritance relationship. And another thing is in the base page, we create a method called iWebElementFind. We all know that Selenium has a flakiness with waiting for elements. So this method will help try to wait for the element before it try to find that element. So this will help to reduce the exception, like no such element exception, or element is interrupted, not able to interact, or element reference, stale element reference. I think these are the most common exception when we're dealing with web elements. So from here, you can see homepage. When we call the web element, we will use this find method and give the element locator. I know some like Cypress or Playwright, I heard it has a default wait. So basically, we're trying to create a default wait for web elements using that find method. Okay, so when you create a testing framework for automation, it's important to have to create an instance of a WebDriver and wait, like I mentioned earlier. And we're putting the WebDriver in the base test class. And you can see of course, right now I only have one test class. So the test class will be inherited from the base test class, and the page class will be calling the base test class. The reason is, in the base test class, we are setting up the driver. It's in the setup method, start driver. Before I go to this explain the task class, it's important to explain the NUnit, how NUnit works. NUnit is a testing framework, just like TestNG and JUnit. So it has a very use for attributes. For example, like this one, it's called a test fixture. When you put this test fixture tag on a class, on top of the class name, it is marking this class is a test class. So earlier I mentioned that how much I love to use Visual Studio is because Visual Studio has this feature called Test Explorer. So this Test Explorers will identify when you download this test NUnit tool. It is using this NuGet package, so you can easily download the tools. It will identify and discover all the class that has a test fixture and has a test case or test method. So when there is a tag says a test or test case, Test Explorer will be automatically like identify saying, oh, there is a test. So in our case, it's identified there is a 4 test cases for using this logging test with different data scenarios. And it's similar like, I think for TestNG, we're using add-read test. I don't have much memory, but that's what I remember. I think we also have like before test, after test. So it's very similar. Here we have one-time setup in the setup. One-time setup is telling the compiler to run this test, run this method before one time before any other test. So if there is a test case, says a test case or test attribute, it will make sure run this code first before it goes to this one. And the setup method will run before each test. So it will run one time before this, one time before this, one time before this, but the one-time setup will generally just run one time. And in the base test class, another important thing we added is assembly level of parallelism. This attribute, it will help to identify that sets the number of the instance may allocate the framework to running the test. So level of parallelism, I set it here 4. This means if there is a test, please run them in parallel with a 4 instance, meaning this 4 task class will run open at the same time and run 4 of them together. If I change it to 2, it will run 2 at a time. If I change it to 0, then there will be no parallelism. And it's important to put this parallelism scope as well. This is like telling it a specified degree which a task may be running parallel. It's telling it all to run all of the tasks under this. And the fixture life cycle, this is also very important. It's telling it to run as instant per test case. So it will run for 1 instance per test case. Okay, base test class is important because we need to initialize very important features here. Driver first of all, let's see. We put the setup driver at the start driver at the setup level. The reason why is we want to run all of the tests in parallel. So if I put it in this one-time setup, that means the driver will open one time, then other tasks may fail. So it's important we put it as a setup, because this driver will run for each test case. That meaning when 4 tests run, there will be 4 driver instances will be opening, and they can run in parallel. And base setup, we also tell the wait, we initialize the wait. It's called a new WebDriver wait from seconds. We put the max wait timeout in the setup fixture. I can explain this later. And the driver go to URL, and we have a setup. We did the setup, and we have a teardown. Here at the teardown, this might look a little bit complicated, but basically at the teardown, we want to identify if there is a driver still opening. Make sure to close it, quit it, meaning kill the driver. If you do driver.close, it will only close the web browser, but driver.quit will kill the browser driver. Sorry. And all of this is I added here to basically it will identify if this test cases. First of all, it will read the test name using NUnit's test contacts, current contacts, test name, and then it will say if this test is failed, then please create the test name and the file name, and create a screenshot and save it as a file and attach it to the to this test contacts, which I can run a demo later. We can see if the test fails. In the test log, we can see attachment of the screenshot of the test. And here I also added the browser with a remote, because in this framework, we included different cross-browser testing with a fire local testing and also remote browser, which is, in my past experience, we use the Lambda test. It is the third-party cross-browsing testing tool, and we can borrow its platform to run tests in different OS and different platforms. And this is the code, basically is telling it to, if test fails, then it will flag it in the Lambda as a pass. If it fails, it will flag it as failed. That's the code for it. I incorporate this just in case someone want to get this framework. It will be helpful. Since we're at the base test class, let's look at the start driver. Okay, so this is a class called the start driver. Sorry, setup driver. And this is method in the setup driver class. And at the beginning, we're using WebDriver protected. And this is the driver pass. This fake username and password for potential remote driver for Lambda or browser stack if you want to use any. And then this is the Selenium URL for the Lambda test. So for start driver, we're switching the browser type, which is defined in setup fixture. So before we start it, let's go look at the setup fixture class. Okay, setup fixture is a attribute in NUnit. it identifies a class as containing one-time setup attribute or one-time teardown attribute for all the test fixture under a given namespace. So the reason we are creating a setup fixture is before we start driver, before we run anything, we want to set a configuration for everything. So here in this class, we have a one-time setup. That means this setup fixture class will, when you run a test, the code will come here and run this one first. And it is important to run setup configuration is because we want to know what is the browser type, and we want to know the username, password, and base URL, as well as what is the max wait time. And where are they? Here I have put it in app settings.json file. JSON file is lightweighted and it's easier it is a key value here, and it's easy to read data from it very quickly. So it will come here, that code will come here, read it from, it is 35 seconds and the password and username. I'm sorry, excuse me. So this test context is actually reading it from one settings file. I created app settings file and then I changed it to local run setting and remote run settings. The run settings file is will help the identify what kind of configuration the test was running. In Visual Studio, we can identify from here. When you click on test, you can configure run settings. So you can go here and then select local run setting or remote run setting. So basically the reason I like to use run settings file over app settings file is because I'm thinking about more forward. Let's say in the future, we want to run this test on Lambda or browser stack third party or CI/CD pipelines. We need to have we need to probably, we will run some tests on remote run setting. So instead of, before, if I'm using app settings.json, if I want to run it on Chrome, I need to come here, change it, manually change it to Chrome, or manually change it to Firefox, or manually change it to browser stack or remote. So here, the reason I'm using run setting is now we can have a local run setting, remote run setting, we can have Firefox run setting. Then when we select from here, when we run local, whichever run setting files is selected, the code will be identifying, okay, this file is selected, then I need to run it on Chrome. Oh, I need to run it on remote. So this will be reducing the manual interaction of altering the web application, altering the files. That's the reason, and it is also helpful for when we create YAML file on CI/CD pipeline, then we can write an inline script for .NET to filter or call this remote run settings file. For further, if anybody interested, please drop us a comment. If you want me to share how to connect this framework, how to run the test on CI/CD pipeline, I can prepare for a session with a remote run set. With this framework with running on CI/CD pipeline session. Please let us know and drop comments. Thank you. Okay, where we are. So let's go back to the setup fixture. So basically, it is setting a configuration and telling the code to where to read the data from. And let's go back to the base setup, because from the setup fixture, now we know start driver. Okay, now we know setup fixture browser as you can see here, I already selected local run setting. So the browser type will be Chrome. And I use the switch case Firefox, case Chrome, and case remote. So it will go to this line of code and create a Chrome driver based on this Chrome profile, which is using Chrome option. And we can add all different argument and user preference. Basically, it's a settings or setup for the Chrome driver. And I just like to highlight, I like to use incognito for Chrome driver for automated testing, because incognito will create a new fresh browser for each test run. So in case there is some cache happening on the browser. Okay, we have a driver set up. Chrome is setting up. And then we will start to maximize the page browser and do a page load and return the web driver. That's what the setup driver has. I also included Chrome capability, which is for running tests when we need to create a remote Chrome driver. Here you can see we need to add some Lambda option. For browser stack, we can create some browser stack option, and it will comes here, add additional option, Lambda option. This is the code for creating that. Okay, so base test class. Okay, so the setup is start the driver and then navigate to the base URL, and then it will go to the test case. In unit, we have this test case attribute. If it's, we also have a test attribute like this. So test attribute will be, it will be identified if it's a test. But test case, why I like to use it is because you can then use it as a providing a data parameter, so you can achieve data driven testing. So you can see for that logging test earlier I demonstrated, we want to verify, we just want to use one script but able to run all different tests scenario, right? Here you can see, first of all, I initiated, what is the error message I want to verify and what is the welcome message I want to verify. We create a page object for the login page. First of all, we call the login page. And then when we go to the login page, we can call login to web. We create a method using email and a password. This email and password is passed as a parameter, and this will be reading from this test case attribute. And when each test case run, this data will pass through from here and to come here. And click on login button. Basically, it is just login button.click. And because there is two different scenario for this test, either the error message will display or the welcome message will be displayed. So I created instant variable as a Boolean type. Is error message displayed or is welcome message displayed? How we identify this, we're basically using the method from base page is called isElementVisible. I can show you quickly. It's using wait.until expected condition, and this is Selenium extra wait helper. I think this wait helper is Selenium wait created for C#, but I'm not 100% sure. And I don't know if Java also has it. If you know, please let me know. So when you call this expected condition, of course, you need to download the Selenium extract, Selenium helper, where we can just directly using NuGet package, NuGet package for solution, and download the package from here. And it will be, it has this method called element is visible, and based on the locator, and do a try catch, and to handle the exceptions, and it will be returning a Boolean value. So if the error message is displayed, then we will have we can compare it with actual message, which is this error message. We can locate this error message using find method, which will be a help to wait for it before it finds it, and before it throws any exception, using the CSS selector, and then do an assertion. Assert is true. The actual error message contains this error. If not, if it fails, then the error message does not match the accepted value. This will be print out in the log. Else if is a welcome message displayed, then we can call the welcome page, because it's not in the login page. I called it as a welcome page, and it will go to welcome page and assert.equal welcome page message, which is this message, and welcome page.text. If it fails, this message will be displayed from the test log. Okay, else, if none of them works, then assert.fail. Basically, no matter what, it will fail this test. It's called assert.fail, and we can get this message print in the log. Okay, let me run the test. Okay. Okay, as you can see, there is a 4 WebDriver is open at the same time, and they are running in parallel. It's taking some time, I believe, because it is waiting for the elements. So all tests passed. Okay, if tests pass, we don't see any logs here. Let's intentionally fail one of the tests. Okay, I'm gonna fail this one. Now let me run again. Okay, it's waiting for 35 seconds before throwing exception. Okay, now we can see here the welcome message does not match the expected value. The failing message is thrown as printed, and expected was this, but was this. And you can see from here, there's a stack trace. And here, because on the teardown, we added the code to take a screenshot and then attached it to the test context. Now we can click on it, and it will be helping for troubleshooting. So we can see, oh, it failed here. Oh, it actually says welcome to testing. Yes, there is no three dots. This will help us for troubleshooting. Okay, that's it from today's introduction of this framework. One more thing I want to add is, I don't know if anybody knows this. I assume most people know. There is another very important rules of page object design pattern I would like to share, which is in page object. When we create the test method, when we create the action method or repeatable test steps, let's say, make sure you don't put assertion in page class. And the assertion only happens in tests. That's the rules of thumb. It's very important because if you put an assertion here, you cannot reuse. Maybe you can, but sometimes you want to reuse some of the method, but different scenario probably have a different assertion. That's why we don't put the assertion in page classes. And another thing today, because of time, I did not add more to it. Page object design model, we also encourage to put test data in separate. It will be helpful for organization and modularization. So if there is some test data you need to update, you can easily go to specific classes to update. For example, this is just an example, like let's say we have some payment tasks. We can put the payment information, test card information in a JSON file, and then we can create class to read the data. We can create an object for a test card and then read that data from that JSON file. And when we run the test for this payment test, we don't have to provide the test card information for each step. Then we can just call this test card and it will read the data from here. So that's it from me. I will stop sharing.
Okay, thank you so much, Rabia, for that presentation. I get a couple of messages that it's a good framework. Sometimes people say that it's amazing for the option, that you present. So thank you so much, Rabia. Yeah, if there is any question or if there is any concern or any, I don't know, something that you need to know, please go to the comments. I know that we have people on LinkedIn, Connect, LinkedIn Live, and also in YouTube Live. So make the comments. Also, if you need something specific, just contact to me directly or Rabia. Feel free, to contact with us, reach out to us, whatever you need. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, Delvis, I also want to share if anybody wants this framework, please let me know or let
Oh,
Delvis know. We can
perfect. That's a good point. Thank you so much, Rabia, perfect.
We can share it with you if your organization, if you're a manager or your team, you feel like you need help with implementing. If you also are using Selenium with C# or you're using Microsoft, your team is using Microsoft, please let us know. We would love to help and implement it for you as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rabia, for that offering. I think they're going to be so helpful for the people. Okay. Thank you, James. Yeah. Thank you for that comment. I tried to put in the comment on the presentation, but it's kind of hard to me. I have to be in. So okay. So I think it's time for the trivia. Just keep in mind that since the event is live, make sure the synchronization, the video is correctly. So you don't have any delay, you don't have any delay on the video. So be prepared for, yes, Tatiana make a comment. Yeah, you can use testing yes for practice in the future. It's okay, go there, just try to practice on that website. Also, if you want to practice scripting on JMeter, Selenium, feel free to use testingyep.com. Also, there is a demo, simple e-commerce, and there is another one online shop. So be free to use testingyep.com for practice. Okay, so I will try to put in here the, let's see. Okay, so make sure that you are synchronize the video because this is live, so maybe you have any delay. So I will try to wait at least 1 minute to synchronize all people there. So the idea with this application is very simple. Just go to menti.com, and then when you enter from your phone, okay, from your phone, just putting on the browser menti.com, and then you can use this code 76494193. So the idea is that you can respond the 5 questions that we prepare for this presentation. So the price for this presentation for today is an ISTQB certification exam. Okay, so in case you win, the raffle, let me know, and then I can put in contact to Brightest. Brightest, just keep in mind, is the organization based on Europe that they are trying to provide certification exams. So they provide us an ISTQB certification exam free. Okay, so okay, let's see. When you are ready, let me know. Again, please, I have to say, just make sure synchronize the video, okay? Okay, so let's wait a couple of seconds to start. Simple question. All of the question, it's about Florida, okay? So because the community, it's about South Florida. So just try to click on the like to see that there is something. Okay, perfect. I saw the comment there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I will start right now. Make sure go to menti.com, and then when just put in there the code 76494193. Okay, so attend to your phone. Okay, so let's see. Okay, yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 people there. Let's see if there is other ones to play. Just wait 2 seconds or 30 seconds to see other ones there, because I know this is synchronization issue. So the code, you will see the code on the screen. You see the code on the top? Just go to the top on your computer, and then you will see on the presentation 76494193 is the code. Just wait a couple of seconds. Hey, players ready? Okay. Okay. Let's wait. Other one. Perfect. Okay. Let's look at 4 people, 9 play. Okay, perfect. So let's see. Okay, so let's start. Let's start, and let's see the first question. First question, remember, answer fast to get more points. In which city is the smallest post office the United States located? Key West, Naples, Oshopee, and San Agustin. In which city is the smallest post office in the United States located? Just select the option. Okay, perfect. Let's see the next one. Let's see before the leaderboard. Tatiana, Chris, and Violena. Perfect. Let's see. Next one. Perfect. Question 2, be prepared. Just keep in mind, answer fast to get more points. Who was the founder of Miami, the city of Miami? Let's see. Thomas Edison, Mary Brickell, Marjorie Douglas, or Julia Tuttle? Let's see. 5 seconds. Oh, only 2 people. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Violena. Perfect, Arlene. Okay, let's see the next one. Perfect. Let's see the next question. Congratulations, Violena. Let's see question number 3. 10 player ready. Let's see. Answer fast to get more points. Okay, keep in mind. What is the oldest restaurant in Florida? The oldest restaurant in Florida. The Old Spanish Sugar Mill, the Floridian, Columbia Restaurant, or the Bubble Rooms? Let's see now. The oldest restaurant in Florida. Perfect. 4 people say Columbia Restaurant is in Tampa. Nice. It's a beautiful restaurant there. Okay, let's see the leaderboard. Let's see. Okay, Tatiana and Violena. Okay, so close. Perfect. Okay, let's see. Tatiana and Violena. Okay, next one. Question number 4. Let's see. What is the town in Florida that has a Catholic university with the same name? San Agustin, Ave Maria, Tallahassee, and St. James. Let's see. Number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? Let's see. Okay, Ave Maria in Southwest Florida, so close to Naples and Immokalee. Perfect. Let's see the board. Okay. Oh, okay. Violena, Chris, and Thomas. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Let's see the next one. And the last one. Okay. Let's see. Number 10. Number 5. Answer fast to get more points. Just keep in mind it's the last question. Be faster. Who was the first governor of Florida? William Dunn, Andrew Jackson, our friend Rabia Minoie, and Joe Collier. Let's see. This is the last question. Just keep in mind. Okay, perfect. William Dunn, perfect. Let's see the winner. Let's see the winner. And the winner is, let's see. Okay, oh, so close, Violena and Tatiana. I think that Violena is the winner of this trivia of perfect. Congratulations, Violena. Just send me your email and I will be talking to Bright Test to give you, that voucher for the exam. Congratulations again, Violena. Thank you so much for being here. See you the next month, okay? Bye-bye. Take care.